Love and relationships can be challenging at the best of times, but throw in Valentine's Day and you've got a whole other can of worms going on. To help us sort out some of the highs and lows of Valentine's Day is relationship coach Frank B. Kermit. Frank, welcome back to the Kelly Alexander Show.
Kelly, it's great to be here as always.
Frank, if we jump into the deep end of the pool right off the bat, what do you do if you are alone on Valentine's Day and you know on some level it's going to bother you?
The rule is if you are completely alone on Valentine's Day, get out of the house. Go someplace, because everybody who's alone on Valentine's Day, who's going out on Valentine's Day, is interested in meeting someone. That someone could be you.
So out of the house, out to social type places, coffee shops, wherever.
Bookstores are great.
Bookstores are great. Okay.
Bookstores are great because nobody wants to go out on Valentine's Day looking like they want to meet somebody, because that could give off an impression that they're either desperate or really lonely or very needy, and that's not attractive.
Do you stay away from bars, Frank? Or is that just like a beacon of I'm desperate?
I wouldn't stay away from bars. If you're a bar person and it's a place you normally go to socialize, by all means go to a bar. I've often heard that people now are doing anti-Valentine's Day parties, anti-Valentine's Day outings, where they'll go out with a group of people saying, boy, I really hate Valentine's Day, and they'll go out together to drink or whatnot. That's a horrible attitude to have, because it puts you in the frame of mind that if somebody does approach you and want to start a conversation, you might blow them off because you're already in such a resentful frame of mind.
Okay.
And that's not attractive.
No, not attractive. And Frank, I think a lot of people put pressure on themselves around Valentine's Day. For example, if they are not in a relationship, it just seems that this day sort of desperately makes them want to find someone and maybe make some sort of rash decision. Or consequently, if they are in a relationship that potentially is not going well, it may make them want to end things. So how do you handle these two extremes?
Okay, let's look at the first one. Valentine's Day can often be a day of reflection. It sneaks up on you because you're so busy with school, you're so busy with work, you're so busy with other things going on in your life, family obligations. Next thing you know, hey, wait a minute, it's Valentine's Day. And when you get to the day, you realize, oh no, I'm alone. Now, for some people, it doesn't bother them. They take Valentine's Day, it's just another day of the year, and if you have someone to share it with, have fun. And if you don't, that's okay. For other people, when Valentine's Day becomes that day of reflection, that's where they start doing an assessment. Why am I alone? How did this happen? Doesn't anybody like me? Doesn't anybody want me? Oh, I feel so lousy. What am I going to do now? Well, I don't feel like going out now because I'm feeling lousy. You got to remember that Valentine's Day is one of the best days of the year to start making plans. Now, if you really don't want to go out, stay at home, make up a plan, and start planning for your next Valentine's Day. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but all of those things you've been loving to do, wanting to do, start planning it now. Well, I've always wanted to learn how to dance. It's Valentine's Day, start making a plan. Okay, next week I'm going to go check out the different dance schools, and I'm going to sign up for a dance class. That's what I did when I ended up very alone on a Valentine's Day, thinking I don't want to be alone next Valentine's Day. So I started drawing up a plan of all those things I've always said I wanted to do, just never took the initiative, never made time. It's right after a very lonely Valentine's Day, I went out and I took some dance lessons, knowing that the following Valentine's Day, I didn't want to be alone.
And then consequently, Frank, if you're on the other end of things where, again, you are in a relationship and it's not going well, do you I don't think you should be making that decision on Valentine's Day or anywhere near that sort of week. You know what I mean?
Well, as someone who, in my younger days, would have people break up with me on Valentine's Day, I can tell you it can be very devastating. But like I said, Valentine's Day is sometimes a day of reflection for people. They get to Valentine's Day and they think to themselves, the only reason I'm with you is because I don't feel I can get anybody else. But I want to know what's out there. I want to know what other options are there. So is it fair? Is it right? Well, it's not right to, just tough out Valentine's Day and break up 2 or 3 days later. If you're not happy in a relationship, try communicating to your partner. See where it goes.
But Frank, a question for you, because again, like you said, Valentine's Day brings up a lot of emotions and reflections and all that sort of stuff. Could it be, though, like a breakthrough day for you if you do really realize, like you look across at your partner and you're like, nope? Like, so you're saying it could actually be, even though it would be maybe upsetting or devastating for the person that you don't want to be with, for yourself, it might actually be a breakthrough moment.
In my mind, and this is one of the beliefs I have in terms of ethical dating, everyone has the right to seek out their soulmate without interference. If Valentine's Day is that tap on your shoulder, that wake-up call, that you're with the wrong person, the ethical thing to do is to free that person so that they can find someone that wants to be with them, and for you to go out and find someone that you want to be with. You know, the idea that, oh, I don't want to hurt the other person, that isn't fair to the other person. Because the bottom line is, you don't really want to be with them. And if you keep them with you, you're preventing them from finding someone that loves them more than you do.
Joining us on the show is relationship coach Frank B. Kermit. You can check him out at www.franktalks.com. Frank, I think a lot of us get caught up in Cupid's arrow, you know, and Valentine's Day, that's just bang, right in the target center. Is Valentine's Day, you know, a time to admit a secret crush on someone?
I don't believe in admitting secret crushes, ever. And Valentine's Day is that one day where so many people are on the receiving end of, well, I've liked you for all this time. Well, unless the person already has given signals that they like you back just as much, all you're doing is putting undue pressure on someone. You know, especially if let's say you've been friends with that person for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and all you've been is friends, and you've always kept your feelings hidden. Is it really fair to that person to just come right out and say, it's Valentine's Day, I have to confess my love for you? Well, now, if the person already likes you, then you're lucky, and you can have a nice Valentine's Day. But if the person is even if they like you a little bit, but they aren't sure, to land that on them, that kind of pressure, like, oh boy, this person is madly in love with me, has been thinking about that all that time, has been thinking about the potential for us. Well, I haven't even gone down that path with you yet. Putting that kind of undue pressure isn't right. I would say that if you really like somebody, don't wait for Valentine's Day. Feel the person out. Test them. Find out if you actually could have something romantic with them. And if you like, set up a date for Valentine's Day. And if they say, sure, let's go out on Valentine's Day, that would be great. You know, we'll go to a movie, we'll go out for coffee, we'll go out to dinner, whatever. They're at least saying, yeah, I would be interested in exploring that with you. But to just surprise someone and say, I love you, that isn't fair to the other person because you're putting them on the spot. And most times, someone will back off and say, whoa, that doesn't necessarily mean no, but it does mean it's uncalibrated.
Now, Frank, how does someone change their outlook if they are alone on Valentine's Day, where, you know, in the past it would have just caused them to dive off the ramp and right into Haagen-Dazs? Like, how can a person themselves see their love life differently on Valentine's Day? Because I know you mentioned, you know, if you've already put yourself in a negative frame of mind, you're sending off those type of vibes. So how do you change that?
Okay, well, the first thing you have to accept is that if you're alone on Valentine's Day, it's because you want to be. You actually have made the choice to be alone. And sometimes not taking decisions in other areas of your life are the same type of choices that you've made to be alone on Valentine's Day. And I know this sounds like very esoteric and whatnot, so let me give you some concrete examples. If I really want to have someone in my life, I will make an effort to go out and meet as many new people as possible. I will structure a social life so that I have a circle of friends who I can call on and say, hey, let's go out to that new movie together. Hey, let's go out to this new restaurant. You want to be able to be the type of person that says yes when someone calls you out and says, I'm going there, would you like to come? Be the yes person. Say yes. Go out. Meet people. If there's an area of your life that you don't feel good about, whether it's your own appearance, your own health, or maybe just the fact that you've never really gone for something you were passionate about, those are the types of things you need to be working on, because those are the types of things that transmit attraction, the fact that you are an attractive person to someone else.
Okay.
So you got to come to terms with the fact that if you're alone on Valentine's Day, don't wallow in self-pity. Find out why you chose to be alone. This is why I say if you're alone on Valentine's Day and you don't like it, get out of the house. Because if you're not at least getting out of the house, you want to be alone. Some people, and I know this is going against, popular culture, but some people like being miserable.
Right. Yeah, I believe that. I totally believe that. Now, on a positive sort of angle, Frank, if you are in a relationship, how should you celebrate the day? Because I think a lot of people view Valentine's Day as, like a Hallmark holiday where it's been forced upon us and people just want us to buy something in red. Should you make a deal of it, or do you treat it as low key, or, and I know probably one of the answers you would say is that Valentine's Day should be, every month. Like you should always be showing love, throughout your relationship throughout the year. But like on that specific day, should you go low key? Should you make it a deal?
Well, here's the way I see it. If you can financially afford it, both of you in the relationship should try to take that day off of work and just spend the day together doing whatever it is you like doing together. So if you're in a financial position to do that, where, okay, it's Valentine's Day, but I'm going to take the day off work and so are you, if you can make that happen, that's what I usually recommend to people who are in serious relationships. Now, barring that, if you do have to go to work and you have other obligations that doesn't allow you to celebrate Valentine's Day on that day, try to celebrate it the Sunday before, the Saturday next. Make some time to say, I am going to spend that time with you. It's sad that as a society, we need a holiday or a day on the calendar to remind us to show affection. It really is. And like you said, in an ideal world, we would be doing this every day, every month. But it's not an ideal world. There are realities. Most people are struggling just to get by day to day. We're all tired. We're all exhausted. We all have obligations, rent to pay. The kids need attention. But that one day is there to remind us, hey, I know you're busy. I know you're tired. But today's the day or the week where we're going to give you a little nudge just to show the person you care about some affection and remind them why they're special to you. Do you have to go out and buy lots of flowers and candy and chocolates and decorate the house with red hearts? If it makes you happy and you have the time, go for it. But Valentine's Day is not about the gifts that you buy a person. It's about reminding that person why they're special to you. Some people can only feel that on the receiving end of gifts. Some people just need someone to come up from behind them, give them a warm hug, and say, you are my everything.
Okay. And Frank, to sort of wrap things up, I just wanted to sort of ask you what your biggest piece of advice is, I guess, for both people alone and, people in relationships. Like, I know we've sort of discussed it, piecemeal throughout our chat here, but I'm sure because you have so much knowledge about all of this sort of stuff, what 2 points stick out for you for, again, people alone, people in a relationship?
Okay, for people alone, you've chosen to be alone, get out of the house, go meet people. Valentine's Day is the one day where everybody who's out is hoping to meet somebody to spend the day with to make them feel special. It's a good day to try new experiences. One of the best Valentine's Day I ever had when I was alone, I decided, I'm alone, it's Valentine's Day, every person that I was seeing has ended up with someone more special than me for them, that's fine. I went to a fetish club for the first time on Valentine's Day. Great experience. I met some new people, and I learned a lot about that community. For people who are already in relationships, it depends what kind of relationship you're in. If you're in a very serious monogamous relationship where you're not dating anybody else and the two of you are looking to build a future together, if you can afford it, take the day off. Spend it together. If you can't, try to do something special in that week. For people who are casually dating, maybe they're dating 2 or 3 people, but no one is really the type of person that they want to spend the rest of their lives with, I would recommend that you see each of the people that you're seeing casually on different days that week, but on Valentine's Day, go out alone, see if you can find your soulmate.
Fantastic. Frank, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Kelly, it's great as always, and you always know that I'm ready to do the Kelly Alexander Show.
Fantastic. That's Frank B. Kermit, again, a relationship coach. And for more information, make sure you check him out. He's awesome. www.franktalks.com.